I'm Sebastian St. James. What are the top 4 things you should demand from a stock before buying it? Today I shall reveal exactly what to look for. In a previous video, one of my viewers said, which key financial figures, the top 3 or 4, do you look for in valuing a company's performance? And what are good and bad figures? 2 of my viewers want me to invest in their companies. I know, what has this world come to? But I'm only prepared to invest in 1. So which shall it be? McDonald's customers are claiming that the chain's burgers have decreased in size, and now the fast food giant has responded. I couldn't agree more, but one of my viewers thinks he has a solution. This is David, and he's one of my channel members. Stop the shrink! Stop the shrink! David has a brilliant idea. He's going to sell giant burgers. Plus, to make the burgers exclusive, he's going to put branding on the cheese. I didn't know that the world needed writing on their cheese. I guess today I learned something. Oh, here it is. Giant burger that is half your body weight. Check. Branded cheese. Check. That's option number 1. Who is he competing with? This is Robin, and she's one of my channel members. Robin believes that women in the workplace are looking too much like men. Are they? Oh, I see what you mean. And she demands that women bring back some femininity into the workplace. Oh, good for you, Robin. She has designed a complete range of more feminine business suits. I'd like to see that. And here's an example. Okay, business suit. Kind of check. More feminine, check. Quite frankly, to me, that seems a little bit sexist. I mean, why aren't men getting this new freedom? Like this. Oh, no, not like that. It was not quite what I had in mind. FemSuits requires $100,000 from me. Okay. Burgerzilla also requires $100,000. So, how am I going to decide who I'm giving my $100,000 to? So, I've come up with a range of different metrics. Metric number 1. Are you profitable? You want my investment money? You better open your books. Burgerzilla has had expenses for the last year of $50,000, sales $90,000, hence their earnings is $40,000. Okay, that's not bad for year number 1. FemSuits has expenses of $50,000, sales of $1,000. Okay, not doing too well. Earnings minus $49,000. Oh. Having a good idea? Well, it's a good idea, but then you really need to prove that it works. So profitability answers the following questions. Do people actually want what you're selling? And can you deliver it for more than it costs you to make it? Well, Burgerzilla has proven their business model. People are wanting it. Sales of $90,000, yeah, and they can do that at a profit. FemSuit, well, they've only had $1,000 worth of sales. They really are yet to prove themselves. When we apply this to stocks, there are several metrics we can use, but this is my favourite one. Net profit before abnormals. Ooh. What's that? Well, that eliminates one-off or non-reoccurring items and the tax effect of these items. Net profit before abnormals provides a better indication of the long-term earnings trend. That same earnings is actually the number that's used in this. Oh, EPS, earnings per share. Now having metric number 1, the question is, what is a good figure for that metric and what's a bad figure? Well, it's simply an in or out. If you're making a profit, that's good. If you're not, that is bad. Alright, so this is just a generalized test to cut out those companies that aren't profitable. The question is, why are we throwing out the abnormals? David needs a new cart. Oh, there it is. It's a giant burger cart which costs him $40,000. Oh, wow. This year, Burger's earnings will be $40,000 minus the cost of the cart, and his total earnings are 0. Well, that's no good. Burgerzilla is unprofitable. Oh no, but the question is, will he buy the same cart next year? No, he's already got the cart. What about the year after? No, he's already got the cart. So really, this is an abnormal expense and is not reflective of his future earnings. Therefore, we can write that off because it's abnormal. So while his true earnings this year is $0, his earnings before abnormals is actually $40,000, which is more representative of what he'll earn in the future. Let's see what the effect of ruling out unprofitable companies, well at least before abnormals, has on the ASX. We start this with 2,419 companies all up. Let's apply metric number 1, net profit before abnormals greater than 0. And that takes it down to 630 companies. Unprofitable companies? Gone. But what does that leave us with? Here is a list of ASX companies sorted by net profitability before abnormals. It starts with BHP, Rio, Woodside Energy. Okay, that's a very interesting list. This metric looks fairly simple on the surface, profitability greater than 0, but let's see how many companies are actually left. 630 companies remain after 2,419, which is 26% of the companies which passed this test. So that is a very powerful criteria. Oh, I got a question from Elmo. What is your most popular videos from Google Analytics? As a creator, I do have the ability to find out which of my videos have actually performed the best overall, but that's kind of personal information and I can't give that to you, Elmo. Oh, Elmo has said thanks. In the video, don't buy property yet, it's dangerous. Thank you very much, Elmo. Look, just for you, I will reveal to you my most popular videos of all time. At number 1, don't go broke. That video is about retirement in Australia. Then we have the best ASX dividend stocks, another one about dividends, and a third one about dividends. So I guess I should only be making videos from here on in about dividends and retirement. Lesson learned. We've looked at cutting stocks off which weren't profitable, but the question is there any good reason to actually buy companies which aren't profitable? The answer is yes. There are times when a company like the early days of Amazon, when it deliberately ploughed all of its potential earnings back into expenses to make itself grow. Technically, it was not earning, it was actually going backwards, but its growth rate proved to the investors on Wall Street that it was a viable company in the long term. So yes, there can be companies which are losing money but can still be worth buying. The majority, though, are not. Oh, Elmo has a question. Your question list must be rather large. It's true, I do have a lot of questions which come into my channel. I add them to my question queue, which means I do intend to add to them. And because the list is so huge, I've developed channel memberships and things which actually allow you to skip the queue. But go on, that question list is private, Elmo. I can't just reveal that to you. Oh, Elmo has given me a thanks for the video proof of where you should invest your money in Australia. Thank you, Elmo. Oh, all right, I'll show you my question queue. Well, it starts off here, and then we scroll down, and we scroll down again, and we have Rob at the bottom on question number 228. That's how many questions I've got in my question queue. And curiously, the question I'm answering in this video right now is at number 226. Well, that is odd. I wonder how it jumped the queue. This is Fiona, and she's one of my channel members. Fiona has started up a business that takes tourists through the Australian bush in search of drop bears. That's right. First, you meet in the car park near the giant drop bear statue. I didn't know that we had one, but clearly there it is. After they meet at the giant drop bear, and then it's a hike for 2 hours through the Australian bush, potentially being attacked by a drop bear on the hike. It's an added bonus. Drop Bear Trails has a net earnings of $40,000. Burgerzilla has a net earnings of $40,000. Oh, it's the same number. Well, that's no help. Who should I invest in? It comes down to this. For every dollar I give you in investment, how much is your company going to give me back in earnings? Drop Bear Trails gives me back $40,000. Oh, they've got an equity of $200,000. Burgerzilla earns the same. Oh, but it's got $400,000 worth of equity. I see the difference. Clearly, Drop Bear Trails is more efficient with their money. They earn the same, but they require less capital to get there. And that brings us on to metric number 2. ROE, return on equity. What's that? Well, it's net income. Okay, we've already seen that figure. Divided by equity. Oh, we have that as well. Drop Bear Trails ROE is 20%, which means for the $200,000 they have in capital, they get 20% back on that, which is the $40,000. Burgerzilla has an ROE of 10%. Oh, okay, that's lower. This means my $1 investment makes 20 cents in Drop Bear Trails or 10 cents in Burgerzilla. Yeah, I see the difference. In this case, it's fairly straightforward. I have an A-B situation, but when I'm choosing stocks on the ASX, what should the ROE be that I should be looking for? Well, here are your metrics. Anything that has an ROE above 15% we consider to be very good. From 10% and above, well, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Below the 10%, I'd consider that to be poor. Below the 5%, that is bad. Let's apply our new ROE metric to the ASX stocks, in particular to the list we're developing so far. At the moment, we have 630 stocks. If I put in an ROE of 10%, remember that's the start of the good, that leaves us with 329 stocks left, so we basically cut the list in half. All right, what does that leave us with? I've sorted the list by return on equity. 2,048%. Well, that's incredible. And you can see some companies there. GCX Metals, Regional Metals, Millennial Services, and so on down the list. This video is about Steve OC's question, but I have found something unusual about it. He only asked that one day ago. You have seen my question queue. It's massive. Hundreds of questions. Nobody asks a question and gets it answered in a day. That's ridiculous. Oh, but he did give me the $50 thanks. Thank you, Steve. That I really appreciate. So, with Steve's thanks, and he's one of my channel members, bang, straight to the top of the queue. So, if you, like Steve, would like your questions to be shot to the top of the queue, obviously you do, hit the thanks and join button below this video. This is Heidi, and she's one of my channel members. Heidi believes that every experience should be magical. So she started up a company called Fireglow Adventures, okay? Heidi has purchased 40 acres up in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. She's filled it with fireflies, and you get to walk through her property at night and experience the magic that she's created. Here, take a look. Oh, that looks lovely. Look, that is spectacular, and I would be up for that. By the way, you notice that my art now is branded. This is a Sebastian St. James original, which means any picture with that on it, I've actually taken the time to create myself. Australia does have its own fireflies. What are they? Oh, the Blue Mountain Firefly, okay. But Heidi says they're not bright enough. So she's imported 2 billion Colorado fireflies. Oh, Heidi. And she's released her imported fireflies into the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. Yes, of course you've done that. Why not? After all, cane toads have made themselves quite at home in Australia, and Heidi wants fireflies to do the same. Fireglow's Adventures has an ROE of 20%. Drop Bear Trails, has an ROE of 20% as well. Okay, that's no help to me, they're both the same. I'm going to need a third metric to differentiate between the two of them. Okay, how have their shares actually performed? I'd want to know that. So metric number 3, the 5-year average total return. Total return means including dividends. So, why have I chosen 5 years? Why didn't I come up with some other figure? Well, 5 years is basically the Goldilocks measurement. If I took 1 year, well, any company can do well for 1 year. It doesn't really prove they've got a sustainable business model. On the other hand, I want to open myself up to companies which have got brand new disruptive technologies, new innovations. I don't really care necessarily what a company did 20 years ago. So, with my 5 years in mind, what is a good return and what is not? The S&P 500 has a CAGR, a compound annual growth rate, of 10.6%. And that's a total return, so it does include dividends. For a 5-year average total return, that means each year, which is a CAGR figure as well, a return of 10 or above is considered to be good. 8 up to 10, that's okay. Anything below 8, look, there's much better things I could be doing with my money. Why so high, Sebastian? Well, remember, this does include dividends. This is total return. Drop Bear Trails has a 5-year total return of 8%. Okay. Fireglow Adventures has a 5-year total return of 16%. Oh, that's higher. Let's see how that applies to Australian stocks. At the moment, we're on 329. Now we demand that the 5-year total return is greater than 10%, which leaves us with 138 stocks. Oh, about half are gone. So what are they? Here's the list, which is actually sorted by 5-year total return. Oh, that's useful. At the top, 209%, 113. Wow, they're quite some good returns. Who are they? Findi Limited, Phoenix Resources, Battery Age, Capricorn Metals. Quite an interesting list. Oh, I got a thanks from David. Many thanks. And many thanks to you, David. David's also one of my channel members, and this thanks now pushes his questions further up the queue. Way to go. This is Mr. Steve OC, and he's one of my channel members. Steve has built a company that solves a current problem. What problem is that, Steve? Taylor Swift's Sydney and Melbourne pre-sales are sold out. That's right, it's impossible to get Taylor Swift tickets. Nightmare! So Steve has come up with a solution. I'd like to see this, Steve. He's built a robot that sits at a computer 24 hours a day buying Taylor Swift tickets. Oh, well, that is not what I was expecting. But hang on, when they talk about a bot is buying up all the tickets, they're talking about a script which is running on a computer, not a literal robot that's there pressing buttons. Well, you would think that, but Steve failed his C++ elective at uni and he can't program his way out of a brown paper bag. But what Steve can do and do rather well, because he actually does this for a living, yes, I'm about to reveal this to you, he makes mannequins. Here's a picture of Steve building his latest mannequin, which he calls Taylor. Oh, does he just? Sometimes Steve takes his Taylor mannequin home with him. He says he has to do some extra work on her. He's so dedicated. So mannequin maker Steve took those skills that he's got building mannequins and he built a robot that presses the same buttons over and over again. How clever. All right, well, this looks interesting, but the question is, how successful have you actually been at getting Taylor Swift tickets? Because nobody else can. Swiftbot Ticket Traders has bought up 23% of all available tickets in Sydney, and in Melbourne, 48% of the tickets. Wow, okay, I wasn't expecting that. What does he do with his tickets? Well, he sells them for a markup of 300%. I know what you're thinking. This is ticket scalping. This is unacceptable. It is an outrage. So I asked Steve for comment. And I quote, "I see Swiftbot as a charity. Taylor Swift fans are crying out for tickets. I distribute them to those who need them the most via eBay." And that comes from Mr. Steve OC. Steve is a modern-day Mother Teresa. Swiftbot Ticket Traders has a 5-year total return of 16%. Now, we're comparing them to Fireglow Adventures, which has also got a 16% return. Both returns are the same. That's no help to me, so I need to come up with a fourth metric that will help me decide. Metric number 4, don't overpay for stocks. Well, how do I determine that? There are two main ways. The two normal ways of valuing stocks is the price-to-earnings ratio and the price-to-book ratio. They are useful measurements, but there's one thing they don't factor in, and that is how future-proof is your business model. To answer that, I need to dig deeper into both of these businesses. With Fireglow Adventures, people are showing sustained interest due to new movies that feature fireflies. Oh, that's good news. With Swiftbot Ticket Traders, there are concerns that Ticketek may install anti-bot software. Oh, well, that's no good. Is there a way I can numerically figure this out so I can apply the same formula to other companies? Well, step number 1 is to look at the PE ratio, which is the price-to-earnings ratio. Okay, let's do that. Fireglow Adventures has a PE of 12. Swiftbot Ticket Traders, a PE of 10. Swiftbot has a lower PE, which means it's cheaper and therefore better, right? True, but we can use metric number 4 to actually look even deeper. Metric number 4 is the PEG ratio. What does that stand for? It's the price-to-earnings growth ratio. Oh, well, how do I calculate that? It is the price to earnings, we have that figure already, divided by earnings per share growth, and that figure we haven't discussed yet. All right, let's start off with a figure that we know, price to earnings. In the case of Fireglow, it's 12. So we put that 12 in, and now we just need EPS growth. EPS growth is determined by that formula, but it's basically how much have your earnings grown from one year to the next. Now, it could be this year versus last year, or it could be this year versus the prediction for next year. Swiftbot Ticket Traders has an earnings growth of 8%. Okay. Fireglow Adventures has an earnings growth of 14%. Ooh, that's considerably higher. Let's do the math. We divide 10% by 8%, which gives me 1.25. Okay. Now onto Fireglow's PEG. 12% divided by 14% is 0.86. Oh, that's lower. Now we've calculated PEG, price to earnings growth. The question is, how do I use that figure? Well, it is surprisingly simple. If a stock has a PEG of 1, it's considered to be fairly valued. If it's less than 1, it's undervalued, which means it could be attractive. If it's greater than 1, it's overvalued, which means you could be paying too much. So Fireglow with its 0.086, oh, that's undervalued, so that could be a good deal. Swiftbot, on the other hand, no, I'm paying too much for the growth that it's offering. It's overvalued. Even though Swiftbot was a cheaper company by PE standards, 10 versus 12, it turns out you were still overpaying for the amount of growth Swiftbot was expected to have. So, who is the winner? Which company gets my investment? Which company reigns supreme? Fireglow Adventures. Oh, very good. Congratulations, you are the winner. It turns out in the real world, you don't have to actually calculate PEG. It's served to you up on a platter. So let's apply that to the list of ASX stocks we've been whittling down. At the moment, we have 138. We're now going to exclude companies that have a PEG of greater than 1. That leaves me with only 15 records. Hooray! I'm ready for the big reveal. Can you show me these 15 companies, Sebastian? Here they are, reverse sorted by PE growth ratio. From 0.08, wow, they're incredibly low, aren't they? Let's have a look. At the top, IGO Limited, Pilbara Metals, Aneka, Mineral Resources, Acro Formwork. They are fascinating companies, but remember, they're just a list of companies that met the criteria I set. I haven't examined them further, so if you're interested, that would be your job, to see whether they actually meet your needs or whether they don't. Oh, I have a question from Elmo. I imagine you keep a detailed ledger of channel things. It's very interesting. What Elmo is referring to is my secret ledger that I keep behind the scenes. It does exist. What happens is when you give me a thanks or you're a channel member and your channelship renews, it actually goes to a secret pot that actually gets larger over time. Now, whoever's at the top, they get their question answered next. When I go to make a video, that's how I determine who comes next. And then when they get the question answered, a certain amount is deducted. But that list, as you can understand, is strictly private. And therefore, Elmo, I cannot share that with you. Oh, Elmo's given me a thanks for the video, Can You Get Rich by Being Lazy? Or, Can You Extract Secrets from Sebastian by Feeding Him Money? Okay, I'll give you the top two. I mean, everybody knows on this channel, if you've watched my videos, who are the top two contributors. But who is in front? That we don't know. Alright, here's Sebastian's secret ledger. Oh, do not reveal, that's a problem. At number 1 right now is Shrimp Tax Australia. Look at that shrimp. At number 2 is Elmo. Very interesting. I mean, people could have guessed who's at the top, so really I can't go any further, but there you go. You now know the order. Oh, Elmo's given me a thanks for the video that beats the 4% rule in retirement. Oh, he wants more information. Okay, I'll reveal 2 more names. Okay, that's it. They're Knox, TFO in position number 3, and Heidi in position number 4. Oh, that's revealing right there. In this video, I presented you with 4 criteria. Firstly, net profit before abnormals, your ROE, which is return on equity, the 5-year average total return, and PEG, which is price to earnings growth. All of that can be summed up in one sentence. Growth at a reasonable price. There are many different ways you can analyze stocks. It really determines what your investment hypothesis is, to what metrics you would use, but growth at a reasonable price is an excellent place to start. Oh, I just got a thanks from Phil M. Thanks, marvelous video. Thank you very much, Phil. That was very kind of you. Are you losing money in the bank? I don't know, I probably am. How do I find this out? Well, I've got original research which will tell you. Oh, click here to find out. Or if you've seen that, click here.